Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Our Voice, Our Opinion, where our voice is our opinion and what we say matters in this room.
Let's start that again.
I can say, well, it's my voice, my opinion. Well, the verdict is in, and the Michael Dunn case, he was convicted of 3 counts of second-degree attempted murder, but there was a hung jury on the first-degree murder of the killing of Jason Davis. How does this change our conversation that we have with our children? I hear you sigh, Ajama.
Yeah, I mean, number one, I had to listen to the verdict. It was tough for this guy who says just because of loud music, he felt threatened and was able to shoot into a car. He was convicted of 3 counts.
Well, the loud music drew his attention. I don't think he's saying he was threatened by the loud music.
But that's what started.
That started everything. Drew his attention, and then he looked into the car and saw 4 African American boys in the car, and then his wheels began to turn.
And
no, exactly,
his wheels were turning before he saw the children. He heard the music. He made a decision in his head that this is a bunch of thugs.
He made an assumption. Go ahead.
He made an assumption that there was a bunch of black men in a car because that's the type of music they listen to, and so his wheels were turning before he even saw anybody. His wheels started turning the moment something was brought in his vicinity that he did not agree with.
The article stated that he pulled up beside the car. So if the music was already going and you hear it, you know the source of the music, you pull up to a car that has loud music. He was at a convenience store. So I'm thinking a general gas station has plenty of room for you to go and park. So he went looking for a fight, in my opinion.
But that's, if you pull up, it doesn't matter who you pull up next to, it's just the luck of the draw. But if they're playing loud music, that's none of your business. You see what I'm saying?
I pull up next to people all the time that's playing F you this and B this and B that, and you know what I do? I roll my window up.
And you go in the store and you get your stuff and you go on.
What area of town? Do we know what area of town this was in?
Does it even matter?
None of this matters.
It doesn't matter to us, but to him, his stand is, was it suburbia?
Who cares? So
I don't care. You don't care.
That's a good question.
But here's the thing. The problem is that matters to someone. It should not matter.
But if it did matter, the question is, if he had this premise of thugs, if he had this premise of being threatened, why even stop in that area?
Right.
Exactly, because I'm sure he had enough gas in his tank still to get to the next.
But the point is, there's been places we pulled up to that it was a little sketchy, but you still go in and do what you got to do.
Because it's not your business.
Right.
But you go handle your business. You go to the convenience store and you pull out and you leave.
So my question is, if I go to a gas station and I'm on the road, there are lots of places in Kentucky, I be a single woman, and I pull up in a gas station and there's a Confederate flag in the window, and a man pulls up beside me with a Confederate flag in the back of his truck. At that point, if he says anything to me, do I have the right to protect myself?
Your ground?
If he says anything to you in a threatening manner, absolutely.
That's a good question.
Okay. So if he says something to you, does it give her the right to just shoot?
So the question is that is an option,
no question.
because there are stand your ground laws, but is that right?
Right.
Because there are other options. There's a lot of options. One option, jump in your car,
and
keep it moving.
Right.
Which is what he probably should have done.
Didn't he say he saw a weapon or he felt it?
He claimed that
he's saying that now.
The window.
He's saying that now.
So what I like to believe is, using the scenario that we just said, Michael Dunn also said in one of the letters to his grandmother that if he had any blacks on his jewelry, he would be afraid that there would be a mistrial because they couldn't see past the racial implications of what he did.
That's just another step into his mind, into his thinking of what he believes about black people. Like you were saying earlier, he doesn't think that as black people we have the mind to look at a case, look at the actual facts of the case, and make a competent and intelligent decision.
Because leave the emotion out of it, because part of that is not only the intelligence, but leave the emotional. He's black, I'm black. leaving the emotion out of it. So
Well, because right now, what does he call all black folks? At least what is he referring to as black folks?
He's
Was
in
it-
his
was it
letters.
thugs?
He's
Was it
on the
thugs?
thugs.
Thugs.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
his term. Everyone is a thug in his eye.
yeah, that term is being thrown around a whole lot now. I'm not sure I like that one, but go ahead.
No,
But it's
what is
it's
it?
a nice way of, he's saying that the term thug is
Right.
being thrown around. You might
Right.
as well say,
The N-word.
The N-word. Yeah, you should.
that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other
Yeah, that's a, yeah,
But
yeah.
the original
N-word.
question was, how does this change our conversation with our children?
Okay.
We say to we teach our children, you stand up for what you believe. The young men were in the car, as the article says that originally when he said something to them, they turned it down.
Okay.
But then, thinking, it's like, this is a free country, this is America.
Mhm.
Why can't I listen to my music? He would listen to his, so they turned it back up. And this is when everything starts to get started. So my question is, they were standing, which they were right. It is a free country. You should be able to do what you want, listen to what you want to listen to. So my question is, so now do I need to tell my sons, look, I need you to, if you find yourself in a situation where it might be a little sketchy, you might need to just back down just a little bit because people are crazy now.
I have told my kids that. As far as dealing with the police, it was an issue with my sons, and it was dealing with the police. I said, if they pull you up, because it was a spell where we was going through, the police was shooting all the black people. So I told my sons, I said, look, right or wrong, do what they say, and we'll fight the fight later on. At least you'll live another day. So don't try to, why y'all bothering us? Da, 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 da. It might sound like the coward way out, but at least I have my sons to live another day to say, okay, we'll fight this later on. Do what they say.
Do you agree with that?
From a theoretical position, I don't have children, so I'm coming from a totally different angle on this. But I just saw a news segment where a predominantly white school, the children were standing up for their rights to wear certain clothing due to the First Amendment. And the principal and the counselors were actually going back to look at, well, are these kids right? They're standing up for something they believe. They do have a point. But are we telling our black children that they don't have the same right just because of their color of their skin?
Very good statement.
They're getting shot down for that. So the question is, theoretically, you do have the same right. But realistically,
Can you risk it and then lose your life? You have nothing to argue if you're in a coffin.
Right, and so let me jump on that one because I've got
Go
3
ahead.
kids, and I've got a teenager. He's 17, big, tall guy. So for some people, he may be intimidated, And I told him, I said, you've got to deal with this. This is reality. It may not be right. I'm not telling you whether it's right or wrong. I'm telling you reality. Reality says there are people out in this world that look at you and make an assumption out of lack of knowledge or whatever. And they may also carry a gun and carry a lot of anger in them. You've got to be aware of that. And you've got to make decisions. And your actions, you got to do your actions based off your decisions, but be aware at the same time, even though you may be right, you may be putting yourself in a situation, or you may be put in a situation that could be dangerous.
Doesn't it feel like Jim Crow? It still
and I was
feels
just
like
about to say that.
it feels like
Same
it still
thing.
feels like certain
Same
laws.
conversation.
It's not physical anymore. There aren't Jim Crow
Oh, it's physical.
laws.
Well, yeah.
It's
Well, yeah,
physical.
We've
It's visible,
we've got
we're not
babies
visible.
we've just put Trayvon Martin in the grave.
It's
Now we've
physical,
just
it's not as often.
Jason in the grave.
And you
Probably
put the
not
other guy,
often.
the young guy that the father came home and the guy was visiting his girlfriend.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
That
It's
could
the
lead
same.
down the same thing of
Same
gun
thing.
control,
Gun,
but
That's a whole.
We have to
we're
cover that one.
we're gonna get back to that.
Right,
We're gonna
right.
take a quick break and we'll be right back to talk about more of our voices and our opinions.